Hello. We are talking about imposter syndrome and 3 things you can do to eliminate it, mitigate it, and basically feel good about who you are at work every day, knowing that you are not an imposter. If that sounds good, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this community of corporate professionals who really want to make a difference with how they feel and how they show up at work. My name is KK Harris. I'm an executive coach and business psychologist. Let's get into this. Well, let's get into that because we are not a fraud. I want to say this. Imposter syndrome is something that women particularly seem to go through more than men. Don't know why that is necessarily, but it could be because the spaces have been dominated by men, and when you go into a space that's been dominated by one group, you can feel that way. I'm on my lunch break. I like to do these videos on my lunch break. I'm making a lovely tuna salad. What are the 3 things you can do? So the first thing you can do is acknowledge those feelings. You're feeling like you don't belong. You're feeling like you're a fraud. You're feeling like they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out that you're not amazing. Those are real feelings, and those feelings are being held in your body. And sometimes we gotta acknowledge it. I like to say we gotta air it to clear it. You gotta acknowledge it. You know, I'm a real positive person, but I gotta keep it real sometimes. Sometimes it's just, I feel a certain kind of way. But by acknowledging how you feel, those feelings of inadequacy, acknowledge it, name it. But then that takes me to number 2. When you're struggling with imposter syndrome, the number 2 thing you can do is to reframe what failure and success looks like, sounds like, means to you. Sometimes we look at failure as it's the end of the world and oh my God, my life is over. Failure is an opportunity for growth. And if you look at it from that lens, you can then look back and say, okay, that didn't go well, or I failed at that. But what did I learn? What was my growth in this? Quite often you'll learn not to do that again. But I want you to go in there and say, okay, not do that again, but do this, this, and this. Yeah? Because why? That's a growth mindset, right? The growth mindset is what you're going for. And then we need to reframe what success looks like. Quite often when people are struggling with imposter syndrome, they look at success as getting the A star. They're looking at it as like getting the best performance review, flawless. And then when they don't get it, that imposter syndrome creeps in. It unstabilizes you. So reframing what failure and success looks like is going to enable you to mitigate those feelings of being an imposter or fraudulent or feeling inadequate. And here's the 3rd tip I can give you to mitigate those feelings of imposter syndrome, to overtake those negative feelings of self. And that is to collect all that positive feedback. And how do you do that? Well, you keep a file on your desktop, laptop, or what have you, where it's called the positive feedback or the wins, to remind yourself of a job well done, to remind yourself how you do show up. In my experience, as an executive coach, as a psychologist, most of the people that I've worked with, they're very high achieving. They're very good at what they do. Some of them have perfectionist traits. We can talk about that another day. But some of this behavior has led them to being very successful at what they do, because that imposter syndrome is pushing them, right? We want to take you out of that imposter syndrome, and we want you to feel confident, and that is looking back at the feedback and the positive things people have said about you, as in your line manager, your peers, your higher ups. Tapping into that. When you're feeling unstable, go to that file on your computer, go click, open it up and look. Most importantly, keep adding to it. Look, I hope that this has really helped you to think of a different way of how you can overcome those feelings of being an imposter. You're not an imposter, my darling. You're not. Okay? And this does not have to be the way you approach your work. I promise you, it doesn't. We all go through different things and feelings, but by putting these tips in place, you can change the outcome of how you feel every day after work. I hope this has been helpful. If you like it, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and please keep coming back for more of KK's career advice, and I'll see you soon. Bye.